Hello yogis, my name is Sydney and today I will be guiding you through a 35-minute upper body release class. Jumping right in, you will need two yoga blocks for tonight's class. We'll begin by taking one block, placing it on the highest height at the back of the mat, and then take the second block, place it on the middle height, 2 to 3 inches away from the first block. Sit with your back facing the blocks and then come to lie down. So the base of the skull is resting on the top block, and that second block, the lower one, should be supporting your upper back body. Take a couple minutes to adjust the top block, bring it to that place where the neck joins the skull so it feels really comfortable. You should feel very supported here. Few options for the legs. Once you've settled in, you can bring the legs out long, feet as wide as your yoga mat. This is like a supported shavasana with a back bend. You can also bring the feet as wide as the mat, knees fall into touch. So soles of feet come to the mat, walk the feet as wide as your mat and bring the knees together. Make sure all 10 toes are pointing toward the top edge of your mat. And then your last option is bringing the soles of the feet together, knees come out wide. If you're taking this variation and you feel any strain whatsoever in the hips, any discomfort in the knees, the hips, please bring some other supports, maybe pillows or additional yoga blocks under the knees. So choose one of these leg variations, and then for the arms, we also have 3 variations. You can keep the hands out long to your sides like in Shavasana. You can bring the arms out wide to a T shape, getting a shoulder stretch. Or if it's comfortable, you can bring the hands up overhead. So extend the arms up overhead. Take this variation if the hands can rest comfortably on the floor. So if the shoulders are pinching or the hands are floating above the floor, maybe come back to option 2 in the T shape. Then dropping right in, we're going to begin some deep breathing. Since this is an upper body release class, think about sending the breath into the chest, opening, inflating, sending the chest away from the back body and into the arms. And then when you exhale, allow the chest to fall. Every inhale, think about opening through the upper back and the chest. And then exhale, allow release. This is a yin style class. We're going to be holding the poses a little bit longer. Every time we come into a pose, focus on the breath. We use the breath to open and expand. And then when we exhale, we're creating space for the body to move a little bit deeper into the pose. This is an especially nice class if you do a lot of sitting, a lot of working at a desk, or driving, anything where we're hunching forward. We're going to focus on opening, stretching, and releasing the muscles and the fascia of the upper body. Take one more breath in. And then on your exhale, if your arms were extended, lower them down to your sides. And if the knees were out wide, use your hands to push them back together. Engage the core, roll off of the blocks slowly. So rising up, set the blocks aside. And then come to sit with the legs out long, soles of the feet on the mat, holding the backs of the knees. Inhale, arch the chest forward. Exhale, round through the back body, hold onto the knees, pull on the legs, creating a little tension. Inhale, arch forward, open the chest, chin is parallel to the floor. Exhale, round through the back body, hold on to the legs. A little seated cat-cow. Inhale, opening. Exhale, rounding. And again, once more. Inhale, open. Exhale, rounding back. This time, let go of the backs of the legs. Lower all the way down to the floor. Then draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a big hug. You can rock a little side to side if that's comfortable on the back. Bring the arms out to a T shape. Hands extend out long. Plant the soles of the feet. Lift the hips and shift them 2 inches to the left. Bring the shins parallel to the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, release the legs over to the right side. Spinal twist. To bring this twist more into the upper body, think about yearning the left shoulder down toward the mat. Turn the left palm down to press into the floor. If it's comfortable in the neck, you can look over to the left side. Really put some pressure into that left hand, pressing down into the floor, bringing the stretch into the left upper shoulder. Breathe into the upper body. On your next inhale, engage the core, bring the shins back toward the ceiling, drop the feet to the floor, shift the hips back to neutral, and then pick the hips up, lift them and set them 2 inches over to the right. Shins come parallel to the ceiling and drop the legs over to the left. Look over to the right. This time the left palm is facing the ceiling. The right shoulder yearns down toward the mat and the right palm presses into the floor. Holding here. Deep breaths. Of course, you don't have to have both the shoulders touching the floor, but that's the intention. So we're yearning the shoulder down. If it doesn't make it, that's okay. We just want to think about opening across the chest and front body. This twist is also very good for digestion. On your next inhale, engage the core. Use the belly muscles to draw the legs back into the chest. Come back to a neutral position. Wrap the arms around the legs. Rock a little side to side if it's comfortable. Then either roll over to one side, come to sit up, or bring the hands to the back of the legs, rock and roll on the spine 2 or 3 times. Find a little momentum. And then roll up through to a cross-legged seat and then roll over the knees, come to tabletop position. Then bring the legs together, come to sit back on the heels so you're kneeling. Inhale, circle the arms down, around, and up. Reach up toward the ceiling. Exhale, hands through heart center, prayer position. Again, arms circle down, around, and up. Use your inhale to bring the arms up. Hands touch at the top of the inhale. Exhale brings the hands down through center, prayer position. Last time, inhale, circle the arms down, around, and up. Big circle as you can make. Exhale, hands through heart center. Come back to a tabletop position. Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. And then turn the fingers back to face towards your body. So for a lot of us, this is going to be quite an intense arm stretch. Walk the hands back towards your knees or come up on your fists. Wherever you are, we want the palms, so the insides of the wrist and where the palms meet the wrists, facing the front of your mat. Once you find a comfortable position, begin to make small circles. So as you can see, they're very subtle. You don't see me moving much, but we're getting a deep wrist and forearm stretch. Then reverse the circle. Micro bend through the elbows. Make sure we're not locking out the arms. And then stretching back and forward. Just doing whatever feels good here. This is a really nice stretch, this forearm stretch that you can incorporate at a desk or, just do this alone to stretch the arms out. Beautiful. Release the forearm stretch. Bring the hands back so the fingers are pointing forward. Come to sit on the heels again. Interlace the hands. Roll the wrists left and right, making figure eights. Releasing that stretch. Reversing the direction. Keep releasing the wrist stretch. Beautiful. Interlace the fingers. Press the palms forward. Inhale, reach the fingers forward, up, overhead. Exhale, release the bind. Bring the arms down through your sides. Come back to tabletop position. Keep the knees under the hips. Walk the hands forward. Lower the chest toward the floor, coming into puppy posture, heart to earth pose. Hands are as wide as the yoga mat. Elbows can be resting on the floor or lifted, yogi's choice. But wherever you are, make sure the forehead is touching the mat and the core is engaged. Think about creating one long line of energy from the crown of the head through the tailbone. And breathe here. We're going to hold this one a couple minutes. You can always bring a block under the forehead if bringing the forehead to the mat is a little uncomfortable, a little intense. More inhale here. And exhale, begin to walk the hands back in. Grow light on the fingertips. Sit back into child's pose. So if you have any spinal conditions or back pain, bring the knees wide. Otherwise, yogi's choice, knees can be wide or together. Everyone bring your elbows as wide as the mat. Hands come into touch. We've gone through a lot of upper body and chest stretches, so now we're going to let the upper body release. letting it relax. On your next inhale, walk the palms forward, lift back up into tabletop position, engage the core, and then moving through a few rounds of traditional cat-cow. Inhale, arch the back, send the chest forward, heart forward. Exhale, round through the spine, starting at the tailbone and working the way up. Inhale, arch, open through the chest, chin parallel to the floor. Exhale, round. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. Even when you're opening, we're engaging the core to avoid dumping the weight into the low back. One more time. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. Come back to tabletop in neutral position. On your next inhale, extend the right leg, toes on the mat. Engage the core. Lift the back leg so the right toes spin down. Send the left fingertips out long, so extending through the left arm, right leg. Option to stay here or look back, bring the left hand back, take hold of the right foot, kick the right foot up toward the ceiling and away. Engage the core, press away from the mat, modified dancer's pose. Beautiful chest stretch. Inhale. And exhale, release. Come back to tabletop. Same thing on the other side. Inhale, extend the right leg, toes on the mat. The left leg, toes on the mat. And then pick the toes off. Left heel comes in line with the left hip. Drop the left hip, reach the right arm forward. Option to stay here or press away from the mat, look back, reach back with the right hand, take hold of the left foot, dancer's pose. You can hold the outside or the inside of the foot, whatever is most comfortable. Really press away from the mat with the left hand. Engage the core, engage, engage, engage. 3, 2, 1, and release. Release with control, come back to tabletop position. Beautiful work, that's a hard one. Come back to a child's pose position and then slide forward, drop the elbows, drop the upper body onto the mat. Legs come to the mat, feet out as wide as the corners of your mat. Shoulders over elbows, shoulders press back, Sphinx pose. Engage the core. Think about chin parallel to the floor, shoulders over elbows, and then elbows in line with wrists. So you're making a nice 90-degree angle with the arms. To engage the core, think about drawing the belly away from the mat. Press into the tops of the feet, kneecaps lift. If this is not enough, you're welcome to walk the palms one palm length forward and press up onto the hands, lifting the elbows, extending through the arms, seal pose. Otherwise, stay with me in Sphinx. Every inhale, you shine the heart forward. And exhale. Avoid arching, crunching through the back of the neck and dumping the weight into the shoulders. Really press the ears away from the shoulders. Press the elbows into the mat. Send the crown of the head long toward the ceiling. Think about rolling the shoulders up, around, and back. Another breath here. And then exhale, release. Bring the palms so the elbows are out wide. One palm stacks on top of the other. Bring the forehead onto the back of the top hand. Resting. Allow the shoulders to release. Let go of any tension in the upper body. I'm going to move into one of my favorite arm stretches shortly. You're welcome to grab a block to go under the forehead for this one. Lift the forehead, walk the hands under the, so come back to Sphinx position, shoulders over, or elbows under shoulders, press into the hands, lift the elbows, extend through the arms, and then thread the left arm under the right, walk the right hand over to the left side of the mat. So we're making this funny cross shape with the arms. Peek at me if you need. Should be feeling a deep shoulder stretch. And then you're welcome to allow the chin to drop, coming to rest where the arms cross, or bring that block under the forehead for a little more support. Very much a yin pose in that we're going to hold this, and you may not be very deep into it to start, but as we breathe and rest here, the body will release over time and go deeper on its own. Just close the eyes, get comfortable. Wonderful stretch for the upper back body, the shoulders. Hands are yearning in opposite directions. The neck is welcome to round. Letting the chin rest, tractioning the back of the neck. And slowly to come out, press onto the elbows and walk the elbows opposite directions, coming back to Sphinx position. Lower the forehead to the mat, slide the hands back next to the chest, almost like a cobra position, cobra prep, and then extend the left arm out long to the side, palm presses into the mat, right hand stays pressing into the mat. Lift the right leg, either keep it pointing foot up to the ceiling, or begin to rotate and drop the right foot over to the left side of the mat. Deep shoulder stretch, really deep stretch in the shoulder and the chest of your left side. Option is there to bind by taking the right hand to the right ankle, but I'm going to stay with my right hand pressing into the mat, elbow at a 90-degree angle. Come to rest on the left side of the head, left temple. Quite a deep, very deep shoulder stretch. So back off if needed. Listen to your body. If you're all the way with the right foot planted on the floor behind your body, think about sending the right knee up toward the ceiling, rolling on the left side of the body. Right hip stacks on top of the left hip. One more inhale, and then exhale, very slowly roll back to center if you were in the full expression of the pose, getting a nice little quad massage. Come back to that resting position. Left palm presses into the mat, right palm presses into back of left hand, forehead is resting on the back of the right hand. Notice if there's any difference between the two sides now, especially after that last deep stretch. Beautiful. Come to rise back up to Sphinx position. Press into the palms of the hands, extend the elbows, lift up. And then on your exhale, begin to walk the right fingertips over toward the left side, threading the right arm under the left. So threading the right under the left, and then the left hand walks toward the right side. Same crisscross shape as before, just with the arms in the opposite order. Again, chin can rest on the top bicep, or you can bring a block under the forehead. Allow the head to be heavy, tractioning the back of the neck and the thoracic spine. Legs can relax. Breathing into this position. One side is likely going to feel very different than the other in this shape, so just notice, observe if there's any difference. Then to come out, begin to lift the chin away from the arms, press onto your elbows. Then walk the elbows back toward the opposite sides of the mat. So uncrossing the arms. Bring the hands out long, coming back to Sphinx position. And then slide the hands back into that cobra position. Bring the right temple, right side of the head down to the mat. Left hand presses into the mat at 90 degree, so elbow at 90 degree angle. Extend the right arm out long to the side. And then option to stay here or begin to drop the left leg over toward the right side. Left foot perhaps comes all the way to the floor. Left knee pointing up toward the ceiling. If you want to go further, you can bind by taking the left hand to the left ankle. And if this is too deep of a stretch or you're feeling any pinching in the right shoulder, send the right arm long overhead instead of out to the right side. On your next exhale, if you had the left foot pressing into the floor, begin to release, roll over, getting a little quad massage on the right leg, rolling back to center, resting with the forehead on the back of the hands again, elbows flare out wide. Just notice how the upper body feels. If there's any shift in muscle tension or tightness, maybe you feel a release, maybe you don't, that's okay too. Just becoming aware of the qualities in the body now as we wind down our practice. On your next inhale, rise back up and roll over onto your back, getting ready for Shavasana. Option to take a final fish pose, so bring the hands under the hips, fingers in a triangle, press onto the elbows, point the toes, extend the legs out long. You can bring the crown of the head to the mat if that's in your practice. Otherwise, just release the head back as far as feels comfortable. Think about pressing away from the mat through the shoulders and elbows. Be very careful here with the neck, making sure not to overextend, engage the core. The weight is in your elbows. And of course, please skip fish pose if it is not good for you or if it's not in your practice. Only take what you need and leave what you don't. Beautiful. Everyone, come back down gently. Draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a big hug. Thank yourself for your practice. I thank you for showing up today, taking care of yourself. This is a wonderful class to repeat once, twice, even 3 times a week to stretch and relax the upper body. Come to Shavasana. Extend the legs out long, feet as wide as the mat. And then hands come out to the sides, arms out long, fingertips facing up toward the ceiling. Palms, hands are soft. Walk the shoulders a little under your back body. Think about opening the chest and resting here for as long as you have time for. I thank you so much for practicing with me. If you enjoyed this class, please feel free to comment. And I would most appreciate it if you would subscribe and give this class a thumbs up. It helps me out, and I am so grateful for you. I will leave you here in Shavasana. I send you all my love and light. Namaste.